personality. Hi, Lisa. Welcome to my channel. I'm very happy that you are here. Agreed to meet with me and share about your experience in Australia. Thank you again for being with me today.
Thank you, Ina. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, yeah. So we met with you on plane to Brisbane, arrived on time from
I
winter
did.
to very hot summer in Australia. So tell
Yes.
tell our viewers and subscribers what brought you to Brisbane and for how long?
Oh, okay. So I went to Brisbane to visit my daughter who lives there. She's been there for a year and a half, and she's working on Tangalooma Island. So I wanted to go visit her, but I wasn't sure how that was going to happen. And she decided, or she and her girlfriend came up with this idea to have me watch her girlfriend's sister's cats while they were gone to Japan. So that's how that whole 5 week thing came about.
Yeah, it is wonderful to have friends who would allow you to stay in their house so you can spend some time exploring local wonderful places. What was your first impression of Australia psychologically, emotionally, like how you perceive it? Was it different completely from your previous experience, or it was very similar to like visiting Florida during winter time?
Yeah, I have traveled to Africa and Europe, and I did feel like Australia had a different, it just had a different vibe to it. My first impression was I got thrown back in time because they have a Woolworths there and a Kmart and a 7-Eleven, which is not really seen here anymore in the United States, which I thought was funny. And the other thing was I, for some reason, thought Australia was very flat, and it is not. It is very, very hilly and mountains. And at one point, I had looked over, I think we were coming back from Byron Bay. I looked over to the left and we were like on the edge of a mountain kind of a thing. And I looked over and it looked like Ireland with the mountains. It was breathtaking. So yeah, to me, it's like Florida and California and Louisiana on steroids. It all comes together, but it's just got such a different feel to it.
If you have to choose like three most memorable things about Australia, what those things could be? Like what key things that you will remember forever?
Oh, wow. That's
Just
a big
three at
one.
this point.
Just three. Well, one, it was extremely hilly. That would be the one thing. The other thing is there's this and I don't want this to come across wrong, but there's this purity that comes from Australians. And I don't know if it's like, I don't want to say that they're sheltered, but I feel like they're just so, and maybe this is just the people that I hung out with, and I feel like I'm going off on a tangent here, but I feel like they're just so pure, so little women, so like I said, not really sheltered, but interesting. It's like they know what's going on in the world, but that yet there's this innocent kind of pure. And like I said, this is just probably from me being around the people that I hung out with for 5 weeks while I was there.
What is a one more thing that you brought with you?
Um, probably going to the zoo. I know it sounds crazy, and gonna get all emotional and cry, but I didn't realize that when you go to the zoo, like I grew up with Steve Irwin. So yeah, when I was there at the zoo, I guess I didn't realize that, he knew, Steve had known. I grew up watching him. He's a little bit older. He was a little bit older than me. And here in America, we were devastated when he passed because we watched him every Saturday morning. Like it just everybody knew who he was. And anyway, going to the zoo, I didn't realize that he had like made all these journals and and he told his wife that he wasn't going to be here long and that he wanted to do all of this for the animals. And he had like he wrote journal after journal like of blueprints of what he wanted to do. And Terry hasn't gone off of his journals, and it's amazing. It's amazing to me. I got to hold a koala and feed dolphins. And just I think being there and their the Australian sense of protecting the animal is so strong, and I love that. That's probably my biggest takeaway.
In terms of wild animals, wildlife, what type of animals you observed? You had the chance to see there over
I
there.
did. So we got a chance, well, I got a chance to hold Ivy. She was pregnant. She had five Joeys, which was an incredible thing to hold. I don't know how many other people get to hold koala bears. It's amazing. There ain't nothing like it. And she knew I was sick because she put her nose, she like backed up and smelt my nose. And it was interesting because I found out afterward that she was pregnant. And so it's just interesting how they're so intuitive. The other thing is I fed dolphins. My daughter works for the marine life in Tangaluma, and just being around that, I've never experienced being in the water with a dolphin before. And when I went to feed him, my daughter said, Luna, I want you to meet my mama.
It is amazing.
And after I fed him, I got scared. I don't know what he was doing, but he came over on the side of me, like came around my legs. And then he came back in the front. And he didn't do that to the other person. But anyway, it just,
Yeah, we know that dolphins are so smart,
yeah,
and it was like a pet to your daughter.
yeah,
Yeah, it is amazing. So those dolphins are wild. I am telling this for our audience, so
they
everyone
are.
understands that they were not trained. But my understanding is that particular dolphin comes to your daughter because she builds personal relationships with him.
Yes, they actually gave her the one that they call a stinker, but yeah, he tried to mess with her. She saw him on, or he saw her on his lane when he was coming in, and he went full tilt, like really fast. And so then she's like, I didn't move because I had she had horses when she was growing up. We had horses here. And so she was like, I'm not afraid of a little dolphin. So she just stood there and planted her ground and was like, I'm not moving. And then he stopped abruptly and just kind of looked up at her. And then so now he's super good with her, and they always they always give him her because he's a little bit of a stinker when he's on other lanes, but he likes Mariana for some reason. It's awesome. He's so cute. Yeah, put your hand on it. Okay. Good boy. Good boy, Ben. Good boy. Oh, you're a sweetheart. What happened to your dorsal fin, dude? What happened? You're so sweet. Did they tell you what happened? Oh, so sweet.
Oh, it is amazing. It is
So
amazing.
I just want to say this too. My daughter has FND, And FND is functional neurological disorder. And there's like she'll have tic disorders and stuff. And so my thing and my husband and I figured that the dolphins can all pick up her vibration. And I think that that has a lot to do with it. I don't know why, but I just feel like they're extremely in tune to what who's coming in the water. They know who the guests are and they know who the staff is. And it's just really, really interesting. And I got to do it twice because when your daughter works for the marine life, you don't get just to do it once. So all they're all males that come in. The females do not come in, and they've been coming in for over 20 some years. It's amazing that they just put the lights on and they all start coming in around 5:30, 6 o'clock, and they just kind of know.
You have a chance to see kangaroos.
I did. I actually got a chance to feed kangaroos. At the zoo, you can buy feed and then just walk up where they're hanging out. There's this whole area that's sectioned off. And they're just kind of laying around and they'll come over to you. And I got to see a couple of moms with joeys in their pouch. I took my daughter to the Warrior. It's called the Warrior Lodge. It's a Warrior restaurant there, next to the zoo. It's part of the zoo, not in the zoo area, but you have to drive to it. And we went there, and when we got out of the car, there was this huge, circular drive. And in the circular, there was probably eight, maybe nine kangaroos just hanging out, which was really cool to see. And way out, two of them got into a fight and they were slapping each other. And it was just like, what? I, you don't see stuff like that in Florida or California. It really, or, in Europe even. It's just very cool to see that they just hang around. Like, it's like no big deal.
Hmm.
That and koalas, like that was another thing where when I was driving around, like I'd see all these signs, the koala, watch for koala. And that just was very, is a mind, like you just like, what?
So you were driving a car over there.
I was
So,
not.
oh, you were not.
I said when I was driving around, I meant to say Uber, but yeah, Uber was driving. My daughter has a car, so when she was around, she would drive me, but I did not she did not want me to do that. That was the other thing in Australia, the roads are like all over the place, and it's not something that you can easily just say, okay, I'm going to get on the other side and I'm driving on the other side. It's not an easy task. And I was there 5 weeks. And after 5 weeks of being there, I think I might be able to get behind a wheel, but still it would be very challenging.
I completely understand because my husband was driving on the left side of the road
Oh,
and it was really stressful. You always have to keep in mind that your right turn is not sharp. It is very wide. Your
very
left turn
wide.
is sharp.
It's so mind blowing. Yeah, I didn't want to take that on. My daughter didn't want me to add that stress to my, vacation. She's like, "No, just take an Uber or I'll drive you." And I said, "Okay." So that's what we did.
So, in terms of everyday life, how would you describe it? Is it different from the lifestyle here in the United States, or it is similar? Is it faster or slower? How it is? How does it feel in Australia?
I feel like this is one thing that I brought home with me that it would be wonderful to change. I feel like Australians have, in general, they have 3 to 4 hours for themselves um, every day. Like because the sun gets up or sun comes up at 4:30, right? I found myself, it didn't matter if I went to bed at 10 o'clock there and midnight there. I was always up between 5 and 5:30, 6 o'clock the latest. And when you wake up, you don't feel like, oh, it's 5 o'clock. I want to roll over. You wake up there and you're awake. It's like you're ready to go. There's no alarm or anything. And it just really blew my mind because for 5 weeks, that was my schedule. I told my husband I'm getting up at 5:30 and my daughter and I would go running around four different places, stop for coffee and have a pastry and we'd get back and it's only 10:30 in the morning. I was like, what is happening? That happened all the time when I was there. Now, if we as Americans, if kids could have 3 hours before they go to school, can you imagine what our lives would be like? You're just like there's this calmness to them. There's not this urgency of hurry, hurry, hurry. And I just felt like on all of their whole being, right? Their whole spirit was just a calmness to them because they have, you and I could go have coffee for an hour and a half at a coffee shop before I even go to work at 9 or 8 o'clock. I mean, to do something like that is so incredibly precious, or to go grocery shopping or go to work out or go sit at the beach. My daughter goes and runs on the beach before she goes to work. I mean, that's she's going to work at 8, 9 o'clock. She's running at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. That lifestyle I would kill for. I tried to bring it home. I can't roll out of bed at 7 because the sun doesn't come up, right? It just that was huge. And I told my husband that I would love to bring this home. And he said the sad part is that we just don't have the sun getting up with you. Yeah, that was the one thing that was really, really powerful to me because I feel like we're all on a rat wheel. We're all spinning, and we're not sure like how much faster we can go. And I feel like the whole Australian lifestyle, getting up, having coffee, and just relaxing first before you jump in the shower and watch whatever you want to watch, read whatever you want to read before your day starts. I just think that's huge.
What about people, Australian people? How did they how did you feel they treat you as an American visitor? So what American people mean to them? How did you feel about that?
That was different. Um, this was different. I felt like when I walked, because I walked everywhere, I walked yeah, it was like 20,000 steps. It was just daily. It was crazy how much I walked. Um, and I noticed this is gonna sound bad, but I noticed it was the immigrants that smiled back. The immigrants smiled back and said hi. When I would say hi, I couldn't get the Australians to respond. I couldn't get them to, it sounds awful, but
They were not smiling as much as people here. Hmm.
no, when you're walking and you pick your head up and you smile at somebody, most of the time they smile back. Not there. And I noticed it was mostly the Australians. And so I asked the other Australians that I was staying with, like what? And they said, yeah, they can tend to be rude. Australians got a different edge to them, but it surprised me, right? Because you think Australia, good day, mate. I only heard that once, and they weren't talking to me. You know what I mean? So it was just interesting. And then I had some other incidents happen, like the first day I was there, that I was just blown away. Um, so
Oh, you don't want to tell?
I will tell you. You want me to tell?
Yeah, of course. And we are not making any generalization for the entire
Okay, good.
population. It is
Okay,
about
good.
specific situations, specific people.
Yes. Well, okay. So I went to the mall. My daughter, it was my 60th birthday, so on the 12th of December. And my daughter decided to take me to the mall to get my nails and toes done. And my girlfriend, my daughter's girlfriend came with us, and they all, everybody got their nails done and toes. And so I was waiting for them outside the salon, and I'm sitting there and I hear I hear a baby crying like really hard. So I'm looking around, I see where it's coming from. This woman's got this stroller, and she picks the baby up. I thought the baby was like a toddler, like 2 or 3 year old. The baby was maybe about like 4 months old, 3 months, 4 months old, and she's shaking it saying, knock it off, like shaking the baby, going, knock it off to a 4 month old. And I, of course, like, what is happening? So she looks over at me. There's tons of people staring, you know. She looks over at me. I'm sitting down like an end of, you know how they have those wings to a mall? And she looks over at me and she flips me off. And I turned and I'm looking, there was nobody standing behind me. So I looked back at her and she's still flipping me off. And she yells, come here. She yells for me to come to her. Now, I just told you I'm 60 years old. She wants to start a fight in a mall with a baby with an old lady. Like, what? No, I I was so shocked by this. I couldn't understand what was going on. I go, it's my birthday, and this woman wants to start a fight with me because I'm looking at her shaking a baby. I had a hard time understanding what was happening. I was like,
So she was one of the clients waiting for her. Who
she was
was
not. She was just a shopper and she was not Australian. I'll say that. But yeah, she wanted me. I don't know why she wanted me to come. She was like, come here. She's like screaming at me to come here. And I kept turning to look like, is she talking? She's looking at me like, yeah, you know, and I'm like, what is going on? Isn't that weird? Because I was sitting down and there was tons of other people walking around her that were looking at her and she zoomed in on me.
how the situation ended?
Didn't go over to,
Of course.
I didn't know what I was just like, I don't need that. I was like, I just walked away. I started walking the other way. And I thought if she
Mhm.
comes after me, I was just going to tell them, like, she's shaking a baby, a 3 or 4 month old baby, to knock it off. I'm sorry, I have a hard time understanding that. And then she comes after me, she's yelling at me. That was, that's how I started my visit to Australia. So, needless to say, I was a little gun shy about going out and walking around. I was like,
Okay, besides this situation, but overall from Australians, how did you feel they feel about Americans?
the people that I knew, absolutely very warm and open. And yeah, I think, and there were some other people that I talked to, some other couples, like at restaurants, because I was by myself at sometimes, and they were very, either they started the conversation or I would start the conversation. I thought I didn't have any oh, you're from America. I didn't get any of that. I know that it's out there, but yeah, I didn't experience that firsthand, I
Mhm.
guess.
So what about your daughter? I know that she likes the nature and communication with the animals, but in terms of people around her, she feels safe, she feels welcomed, she feels very
Yeah,
good.
absolutely. Most of the people that she's with are travelers. Most of them are from Italy. Let's see, Italy, Scotland, um, Brazil. They're from all over, so they're very they're very much a close knit. Like they really support one another with whatever.
Hmm.
My daughter's big into apothecary, making certain teas. So she's always making sure people are getting, like, if they start to get a little sick or whatever, she's like, oh, I got to get you a tea. So they're very, and like she wasn't sure how they would take her in because this is like her first time doing this, right? And everybody's just so like, come on, they don't just ask. And if she says, no, I can't, I got to do this, they're like, no, come on, you need to, they really support that. They don't just let anybody, slip through the cracks and be by themselves. They really want everybody to do it as a unit. And she absolutely loves that. My husband and I laugh about how we don't think she's coming home. I mean, how could you when you feed dolphins every day? I mean, I know it's the same dolphin. Sometimes she doesn't always get Luna, but it's, yeah, how can you, like, I'm standing there watching the sunset on this island. It's just like, it's like like you're living a dream. I don't know how anybody could say, I can't do this anymore. I got to get out of here.
What about the health care for your daughter? She lives there permanently. Does she have insurance to cover her needs, or she pays out of pocket? How it works for her?
In the terms of healthcare, we pay out of pocket. We at first we thought, you know, if there was something we could do like an insurance or something that our insurance, but it doesn't. You pay out of pocket. The one nice thing that I thought was interesting, and this doesn't happen here, is when I was sick, my daughter's friend's mom called her doctor that morning and got me a 10:30 appointment. Now, she got an appointment for a foreigner, an appointment in her office at 10:30 in the morning. That does not happen. And it was $80. $80 to see a doctor. That would never happen here.
Mhm.
Like if you're from out of town and you came to my house and you were coughing and very sick, I couldn't call my doctor and get an appointment for you. There's no way that would ever happen.
What about your plans for future? How often you are planning to go to Australia now, and when it is going to be the next time?
Well, my daughter mentioned in she might come back in June. One of her visa is up, but she's applying for her third visa. So she was thinking of coming for like 4 or 5 weeks and then returning. So, if she decides that she doesn't come home and wants to stay, I would probably go in the year 2027. Not this year, but I probably would go next year.
What about your husband? After your trip, he probably is also inspired and want to go to visit Australia and experience for himself.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because before I left, he said, well, this would be good for you because, I used to watch my mom and now my mom's in a home. So, and that's been really difficult. But anyway, yeah, he had to take care of like I've got 6 goats and 20 some birds out there, chickens. And he had to really step up. I've got 3 cats and 3 dogs in the house. So that's not really his thing. I shouldn't say that. He does, take care of them, but like, yeah, he had to be, you know. And so he laughed about how, you're not going anywhere because like because so many animals. But before I left, he made a statement. We were talking about it, and I said, I think you should go next year. And he goes, oh, that'd be fun. But I don't just a side note, he just bought a van that he's redoing, and I think he'd rather do his boogie van, especially if Mariana comes here, then he would see no need to go there. But my husband's a world traveler. Back when the girls were little, he had to go all over. He went to Japan a couple of times, China, he's been to Brazil. He's been all over the world. So his idea of traveling is not like mine, even though he wanted me to go with him all that time. But I was either pregnant or the kids were really little, and it was too much. I was like, I can't. You just go do your thing. But
Well, if you guys decide to go together, I will be happy to watch your animals if I
oh,
can, if I can handle it.
you
But
can handle
I
it.
love
They would.
farming, so I
Oh,
love
they would love it.
yeah, I love
You can.
watching animals. I love taking care of them. So I will be happy to help you guys so you can travel together and
Well,
enjoy
that's very
Australia.
sweet. Thank you. That's very sweet.
Thank you, Lisa, so much for this conversation, for sharing your experience with me and with my subscribers and viewers. I truly believe that your experience will help other people to get some sense of Australia. So thank you again, and I will see you next time.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye.